In the heart of a busy city lived a young man named Hamza. To the world, he looked like everyone else, a regular guy with a quiet face, simple clothes, and a small job. But inside him lived a storm he didn't talk about. He wanted to change his life, to find meaning, to become someone he could finally be proud of. Yet every time he tried to move forward, life pushed him 2 steps back. He worked hard, but it always felt like his efforts disappeared into nothing. Every morning he woke up tired, not from lack of sleep, but from the weight of disappointment. He had dreams once, bright ones, but years of rejection had turned them dull. One night, as he sat alone in his small apartment, he whispered to himself, "Maybe I'm just not meant to be successful. Maybe this is it." The words echoed in the empty room, heavy and hollow. The next day, while returning from work, Hamza saw an old man sitting on a park bench feeding birds. Something about his calm face drew Hamza toward him. The man noticed his tired eyes and said gently, "Son, you look like someone searching for something that doesn't want to be found." Hamza smiled weakly. "Maybe I'm searching for peace," he said. "But I don't even know what that looks like anymore." The old man nodded slowly. "Do you see these birds?" he asked. "They don't worry about where the next crumb will come from. They trust the process of life. That's peace, not knowing everything, but still moving forward." Hamza sat quietly, watching the birds. Something inside him softened, but he didn't say anything. As he stood up to leave, the old man said one last thing. "Whatever you do, son, do it with patience and discipline. The reward is always slower than we expect, but it never forgets its way back." That night, those words echoed in Hamza's mind. The reward never forgets its way back. He didn't fully understand what they meant, but they felt powerful, like a truth he had known once but forgotten. The next morning, for the first time in years, he woke up early. He didn't make a grand plan. He just decided to change one thing: he would spend 10 minutes every morning improving himself. He started small. Reading 1 page of a book. Writing 1 line in his journal. Doing 5 push-ups. It seemed meaningless at first. 10 minutes couldn't possibly change his life. But days turned into weeks, and something subtle began to shift. His mornings no longer felt heavy. His thoughts grew quieter. The noise in his head, that constant voice of failure, started to fade. He realized that life wasn't asking him to move fast, only to move steadily. So he kept going. Some days he felt strong, some days weak, but he didn't stop. That small routine became his anchor. His consistency became his confidence. Every morning he told himself, "1 small win today. That's all I need." Months passed. One morning, while at work, his manager noticed how calm and focused he had become. "You've changed lately," she said. "You're sharper, more disciplined. What happened?" Hamza smiled. "I just started doing the small things I used to ignore." Later that day, something unexpected happened. His manager offered him a new role. It wasn't big, but it was the first promotion he'd ever received. That night, when he came home, he stood at his window, looking at the lights of the city. The same streets that once made him feel lost now looked alive. He whispered, "Maybe the old man was right. The reward really does find its way back." Encouraged, Hamza added one more habit. He began writing short reflections about what he learned each day, about patience, comparison, happiness, and peace. He wrote about how chasing perfection had once made him miserable, and how doing small, imperfect things daily brought him mental peace. He didn't expect anyone to read them. But one day, a friend visited and found his notes. She shared them online. Within weeks, hundreds of people began reading his reflections. Messages started pouring in from strangers, people saying his words helped them find hope again. Hamza was shocked. His quiet lessons were now healing others. One evening, he went back to the same park, hoping to find the old man again. And there he was, sitting on the same bench, feeding the same birds. Hamza walked up to him, smiling. "You were right," he said. "Patience really does pay back." The old man chuckled. "I told you. Life never forgets those who move with discipline. But tell me, what did you learn?" Hamza sat beside him and thought for a moment. "I learned that success isn't about big moves. It's about small, steady habits that slowly build your strength. I learned that peace doesn't come from escaping pain, but from accepting it. I learned that everything, every delay, every rejection, every small effort, happens for a reason." The old man nodded with a smile that carried years of wisdom. "You see, my son, most people chase happiness like it's a destination. But happiness is just the quiet rhythm of consistency. It lives inside daily habits, not at the end of them." Hamza's eyes softened. "I spent years comparing myself to others," he said quietly. "Now I realize I was just measuring myself by the wrong ruler. True self-worth isn't about being ahead of someone else. It's about being ahead of who you were yesterday." The old man laughed softly. "You've learned the most important lesson of all: stop comparing yourself, and start becoming yourself." As the sun began to set, the birds rose into the sky. Hamza watched them, feeling something he hadn't felt in years: gratitude. The kind that fills your heart without any reason. He realized he no longer needed a perfect life. He just needed a meaningful one. Months passed, and Hamza's reflections turned into a small book called The 10-Minute Miracle. It wasn't about success, fame, or wealth. It was about balance, destiny, and faith, a simple reminder that the biggest transformations often come from the smallest habits. The book reached thousands of people. But what made Hamza happiest wasn't the numbers, it was the thought that his words might help someone sitting alone one night, thinking they're not enough. He often returned to that park bench, hoping to see the old man again. But one day, when he went there, the bench was empty. Only a small folded note lay on the seat. It said, "The teacher's job ends when the student finds peace. You've built your bridge, Hamza. Now help others build theirs." Tears filled his eyes, but he smiled. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you." From that day on, Hamza made it his mission to remind people that life improvement doesn't happen overnight. Success motivation isn't about speed. It's about showing up every day, even when you feel small. It's about faith when nothing seems to work, and discipline when the results are invisible. He began speaking at small events, sharing his story, a story of patience, destiny, and quiet growth. People called him an inspiration, but Hamza would always shake his head and say, "I'm not an inspiration. I'm just a reminder that consistency is the most powerful form of hope." Years later, when a young man once asked him, "Sir, what's the secret to success?" Hamza smiled the same calm smile the old man once gave him and said, "The secret isn't big dreams or big actions. It's small steps, done daily, with focus, faith, and gratitude. It's not about running faster than others. It's about never stopping your walk. Because in the end, success isn't built in a moment of greatness. It's built in the quiet moments no one sees, the mornings you wake up early, the nights you write one more line, the days you choose patience instead of giving up. That's where real strength is born." So if you're listening to this story right now, maybe you, too, are tired of trying. Maybe you've failed 100 times. Maybe you feel invisible. But remember Hamza, remember how he started with 10 minutes. You don't need to change your life in one day. You just need to start with one step, and take it again tomorrow. Because your destiny isn't hiding from you. It's waiting for your consistency to find it. Keep your faith, trust the process, and never forget, everything happens for a reason. And one day, when your story is told, people won't remember how quickly you made it. They'll remember how patiently you kept walking when no one believed you could. Never give up. Because your peace, your confidence, and your purpose, are all waiting on the other side of consistency.